to the pop culture cosmos.
And we're back with another episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from the Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and the Lakers Fast Break. Hopefully you will check out all of our great shows, all the great stuff on Humanica Media, and more. So go ahead and check it out today. Make sure you like and subscribe. 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, also as well, if you can go ahead and support the great radio stations that still play our shows all around the world, it is immensely appreciated. And to everyone that takes the time out of your day to go ahead and check us out to get the latest news and info on pop culture, we're always grateful for you stopping by the Pop Culture Cosmos. And it's going to be a busy week. I hear rumors of a special show coming up later this week on the Lakers Fast Break. I hear good things about a new segment that's going to be added to the PC Multiverse that TJ Johnson has demanded. So hopefully we will go ahead and be able to do that for you this week. And Chris Sardieri and I come back to you for Inside Sports Fantasy Football this week as well. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without my good friend. Indeed, it is, of course, the man, the myth, the magnificent one himself. You got to go ahead and catch him today as the Happy Hoarder, wherever you go ahead and get your social media. Also, as well, Humanica Media as well. Go ahead and check him out today on all those great venues. It is, of course, Josh the Magnificent Peterson. What's going on, man?
What's up? Hey, so I got to tell you a story, all right? So I did in 2024 at Xbox, what do they call the Xbox conferences? They're not State of Play, they're Xbox.
Just Xbox, Showcase, I think.
Showcase, that's right. Yeah, so they showed a game called Still Wakes the Deep, and I remember sitting there watching. I'm like, really would like to play that one. Completely forgot about it, right? So got bored this week, sat down, got on the Game Pass, and I was like, oh, I remember I wanted to play that. So I sat there, and I think I played that game. It's about a 6-hour game. Played it through in 2 days. And I have never been so enamored with like a story in my life, because this is one of those games, like horror. So the premise of the game is very like Lovecraftian, right? They're on an oil rig, they drill too deep, and something that all these like tentacle things. It's like a rainbow it's a rainbow like tentacle looking form comes and like wraps itself around the
almost like Call of Cthulhu like.
Right. And it's kind of like got Dead Space vibes, where like it turns everybody mad and turns them into like creatures and stuff. But so the whole time you're trying to figure out a way off the rig and get back to your family. It's done by a Scottish studio, which is really cool. But I sat there and I played this game all the way through because I was like, this is amazing. And they did a good job of your not so much like in Dead Space, Resident Evil. You have the monsters come at you, right? And you have to fight them. In this game, all you can do is run away from them. Like you have to not get caught by them. And most of the horror, like the monsters, you see them like crossing back and forth things, but a lot of like the scary stuff happens like behind doors and stuff. You see like glimpses of it like through a window. So they do a really great job of keeping on your feet. So I finished that, and then I immediately went, like I was so enamored with this world, I went and played the expansion for it called Still Wakes the Deep Siren's Rest, and that just came out this year. But I've not been like that obsessed with a story in a video game since Alan Wake. And if anyone who has Game Pass, like this is a definite check this out for sure.
We have been a big proponent of Game Pass and all the things that it has. In fact, upcoming here in 11 days, Gears of War Reloaded. Hello! Just to let everybody out there know that. Exactly. Although you could pay, $50, $60, whatever it's going to be on PlayStation 5, go ahead. You're welcome to. But again, I just don't get it. I don't understand it, because I know PlayStation 5, they recently released their numbers. I think it was reported by the folks at Sifted. They do such great work over there. They said that it's just behind PlayStation 4 numbers at this period of its life cycle. And I'm thinking, how? You haven't really produced a first-party game of note in a little bit.
Yeah.
Death Stranding 2 just came out. I mean, pretty good reviews, but I don't hear it lighting up the sales charts as far as it's concerned. So Kojima is Kojimaing, and then
Yeah,
and
he does.
that, yeah, Josh, because it's just I don't know. I just don't understand it. We're in a very different economy right now than we've been at in a long time. People need to save money, and they always talk about the best value for their buck. We have been preaching on the show. Yes, it does come off as us as like Xbox stands. For me, it's about where's the best value.
Mm-hmm.
Value by far is the Xbox Game Pass. I understand it's a behemoth. I understand that people in the industry loathe it to death. But you cannot argue about all the number of titles that are on it for the value that you get, plus the fact that, again, it is, the fact that you get day one games, which is something neither of the other two do at this point in time. So yeah, you could go ahead and spend $500-$600 on your Nintendo Switch 2. By all means, you can go ahead and spend $500-$600 or even more on a PlayStation 5, PlayStation 5 Pro, what have you. Go ahead. But for me, again, it's all about what is the best value for the consumer. And I have to be honest with you guys. It is right now, and has been for quite some time, in the hands of Xbox. And I just don't get why Xbox themselves, I know this is something TJ and Johnson and I have talked about it ad nauseum as well, as you and I have, why they do not promote it better, why they do not promote it more. They've spent billions on acquiring studios for themselves, and still just absolutely just blows my mind why Microsoft doesn't shove this figuratively down your throat ad nauseum on how good of value this truly is.
Yeah, they acquired all those studios, and now they've shut down almost a third of them.
Yeah, but they still got a lot of games coming out, though. They still got a lot of value coming out. I mean, Grounded 2, I just talked about with TJ, last week, as far as that's a game. It's not even full access. I mean, it's not even the full version yet, but you can play it right now. It's going to be the second of 3 games produced by Obsidian this year, and day one to Games Pass. And then all the stuff that's coming over from Xbox to PlayStation, Josh, that's leading up the charts. You could have played in some cases that on Xbox Game Pass for years before it finally came to PlayStation. I just don't get it. I just don't understand why, if people are complaining about their pocketbooks, yet they're playing on a PlayStation. I just don't get it.
I know, man. Okay, so here, from consumer perspective, right? So Game Pass, I think with tax, it's 21 and some change when the bill comes out. PlayStation Plus, so I'm subscribing to PlayStation Plus, not like the top tier version, but like the medium version. And I need to cancel it. My wife's getting on me about canceling that thing, but because I wanted it to play the original Death Stranding game. But then I found out it's also on PlayStation.
I got it free. I should have let you know. I could just have my computer for a couple of weeks. Got it free.
Yeah, I because like it was on sale on Xbox when I wanted to play it, but it was $18, so it was the same price as the PlayStation.
It was free on the Epic Game Store, I believe, during a Christmas holiday, I think, a couple of years
back. Hindsight's 50-50, right? But the middle grade PlayStation Plus membership is when the billing's done, it's 18 and some change, right? So if you're $3 more, you could have the Game Pass and get to play games on day one, because this middle grade PlayStation Pass doesn't give you access to newer games. It doesn't give you access to day one releases. It doesn't give you access to a lot of things that Xbox would. So with the PlayStation, they have like a plethora of like, a lot of the stuff you can play on this one is stuff you can also play on Xbox. It's stuff from like generations past, but nothing that is a day one release. And so this is why, if you look at the values, the Game Pass is clearly a better value, a better bang for your buck if it has if you're interested in the games releasing on it.
I'm just going to say this again. I understand people were freaking out when they raised the price. And yes, $20 per, $100 and some odd dollars per year for the service is a lot of money to ask. I use my Bing points just to let everybody know. You can actually, if you go and use the Bing like you use your Google, you can tally enough points to where you can burn them off and use that towards the 1 or 2 or 3 month of Game Pass every now and then. So that just you know, that's an additional value to you right there. I'm just going to say this again, when you look at it over the course of what you see in a year, especially since Xbox has started churning out some games, first party games, even with the closure of the studios, which is definitely unfortunate, they've still been putting out a lot of games, so much more than Sony on a first party basis. And it's just, I don't get it. I just don't understand people who try to tell me that PlayStation's better. And I'm just like, how? How, from a realistic standpoint, unless you willingly want to spend a lot more money, and that's the case with a lot of people, they're just willing to want to spend a lot more money. And in the age we live in right now, with the economy the way it is, it just does not make fiscal sense. It's like, I'm telling you know, it's like you and I, let's say Pepsi and Coke. We go up to a vending machine, and Pepsi is like $2 more than Coke. But you still want Pepsi. So you're willing to pay $2 more for that Pepsi than Coke. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, that's fine. But when it comes to, let's say, later on in the day or later on in the week or later on in the month or later on in the year, when you're trying to scrounge for some money just to eat lunch, I got to think to myself, all those Pepsis you bought that you spent more money on. Does it make sense? Does it make no sense?
Streaming services, right? Like how much you're spending on Netflix and
Exactly. So I don't know. Again, it's up to you. If you guys prefer PlayStation, if you guys prefer Nintendo, by all means. And I understand it comes as being as Xbox stands. You're going to say in the comments all that. Yeah, it is. I get that. I understand that, and I respect that. But you cannot tell me the best value in video gaming in a time and need where the consumer needs the value the most is not at Xbox. It is the best value by now. I've been saying it for years, and I say it respectively. I say it as objectively as I can for you guys out there, because I want you guys to be able to spend money on the things you want to spend it on. If it's on PlayStation, by all means, but understand when you're paying $70 for something that somebody gets just as far as a $20 a month subscription, understand that you are paying substantially more for that same product. And it just makes sense to me. And if you try to rationalize it out, it just absolutely is it's just weird how that happens. But again, that's, Xbox, I put a lot on the onus on them for not being able to advertise it the way they should have, to not promote it the way they should have. The Xbox One obviously killed a lot of their momentum. Absolutely. That is their undoing. You and I've gone over this a ton of times during the late teens, last decade. But right now, if you look at it fiscally right now, why hasn't there been an upsurge in sales for the Xbox, even with the price hike that they had? It's simply, I don't get it. I just don't understand in a time of need where people need to save as much money as they can, why Xbox is still out in left field. But then again, a lot of that is on them as well.
Yeah, and it doesn't help too that Xbox doesn't have a big presence in stores anymore. Like you can go in, find the controllers, and most of the games have been dwindled down to one section or an end cap. So you don't see it represented anymore. So even if Xbox pursues this dream, right, of going all digital, they go, woo, into the all digital future, we're still going to end up with this problem where like people are going to go to Walmart or Target and be like, what's up? Did Xbox go the way of Sega? Like, I don't see anything here that's even Xbox related.
I remember at the height of the 360 era, when you and I were, you were working at Best Buy and I was running game stores for Game Crazy. Mm-hmm. And we would have constant rep, Nintendo rep, Sony rep, Xbox rep would be coming into our stores to make sure their product was prominently displayed. Then they tell us about all the great things. They give us the company lines, whatnot. They give us some stuff and some merch and all that. And there you go. But the fact is, you just don't have that personal touch anymore. People wanting to be able to promote their product to the fullest. And, Sony has that brand name and awareness. And I respect them for 100% for that, as far as what they've been able to do in the industry. and what they're still doing in the industry. People are still buying PlayStation 5s. Obviously, what they said, they're just behind the sales of the PS4 at this period of the life cycle. But it is just disappointing to me that Xbox, having by far and away the best value in gaming, doesn't spread the word out like they should to the average consumer. Remember, when you and I always talk, I always talk like, okay, it's great that it hits the niche marketplace, and great that it hits the fan base that it needs to. But for me, something isn't truly a hit unless it reaches out to the average consumer. And Xbox in this generation certainly hasn't. And again, a lot of the onus has to be placed on them for not being able to identify that problem.
Yeah, I agree. And you see those memos leaked from Microsoft online, and the higher ups are talking about how Xbox, like the video game sector, if Microsoft ever found themselves in hot water, the video game sector would be the first one to go, because it doesn't even scratch their bottom line, So, yeah, I mean, if Xbox ever found themselves in a place where they weren't profiting anything, it's very possible we could see Xbox disappear completely.
Before we go ahead and get into the back half of the show, which is for the summer box office, and we talk at length about that, I wanted to go ahead and mention some of the things that we've been doing as far as a pop culture Alien Earth. And big shout out to Alan, by the way. Thank you again as a longtime fan of the show. We truly appreciate you enjoying what we do here. And everybody else watching and listening here at the Pop Culture Cosmos. It is Gerald Glassford along with Josh the Magnificent Peterson. Cannot thank you enough for stopping by. Alien Earth, I know you've been watching that. You watched the first 2 episodes. I took your advice and I watched, speaking of Hulu, which is going to be, I told you so, looped in. I did. I nailed it. That's going to be part of the, integration. It's going to be like everywhere else in the world, where it's all integrated in one, which I'm glad to see. But you watched Alien Earth on Hulu. I watched Predator Killer of Killers. Took your advice. 2/3 of it was really, really, really good. Whereas 1/3 was like, okay, I have to stretch my imagination a little bit. But I'll tell you what, it is really good. The animation, I think that and K-pop Demon Hunters really have a case for best animated feature. I don't know if Disney is actually going to put this out in the theaters so it will qualify for it, but I think they should. But Alien Earth, Predator Killer Killers, these are IPs that are not dead, my friend. Definitely not dead from what we've seen.
So let me, did you watch Alien Earth? We can get more into that in a minute. Let me touch on.
Not yet.
Okay.
I want to get all the episodes done first. I want to see it as one.
Okay, so I want, I'll be non-spoiler with that, but I will tell you, Predator Killer Killers, Alien Earth. You know what these 2 things have in common?
What's that?
It's the fact that now that Fox doesn't own these brands anymore and they're at Disney, Disney actually cares about telling stories, like good stories, whereas Fox was all about what gimmicks can we use from the past that have proven to be fruitful for us.
And you are the alien expert among us, so I always defer to you on it. Even though I've seen much of the alien universe myself, I always defer to you on what you think is good quality, as far as alien movies or in this case, a series. What is a good product in the alien universe? Because, Alien Covenant, for instance, I know you've gone back and forth with others on Alien Covenant because it's been not exactly the most beloved thing over the course of the years. But how does Alien Earth, at least the first 2 episodes, with new episodes every Tuesday, lining up for you so far?
I really like it. Like, I will be 100% transparent. Like, I am really enjoying this because it has the scary xenomorph killing thing going on, but it also it tells a story, a really good story. It tells like the centerpiece is a brother and sister.
Where does this fit in the timeline of everything, if I may ask?
This is right before Alien.
Okay.
So this takes place in between Covenant and Alien. They do a great job of kind of making it stand on its own a little bit. So like there's a lot of people in there looking for like connections to other movies, right? So we
Mhm.
know, we see like the other
The
corporations
last Alien movie had that connection to the first.
to Prometheus.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
actually, had it to the first Alien. If with what's his name? Uh,
Yes.
yes, with the the android in the first movie.
Yes, yeah. So, but it was also really cool because in the lab where he was, what was the guy's name? Ian something.
Ian Holm. That's
Ian
right.
Holm.
Yeah, I had to. My Lord of the Rings popped up. There
Right.
you go.
In that same lab,
Bilbo.
in the same lab. Did you watch Romulus?
I did.
Okay, because did you in the same lab though they had the canisters from Prometheus.
Mhm.
So they obviously found them wherever they were, and you can hear the Prometheus soundtrack playing in the background. Anyways, Alien Earth hasn't touched on any of that stuff yet. There's a lot of people talking about like, oh, is he going to connect Alien to Blade Runner? Is he going to connect it to Prometheus? Like, there's rumors that all like Ridley Scott's a lot of his projects are in the same universe more or less, but it's cool because like I said, you have the action horror, you have the emotional story between the brother and sister, you have the story of like corporate greed. It has so many angles right now without overcomplicating the story, and I'm really excited to see where it goes because it also, in addition to the xenomorphs, you have these other alien creatures that this science crew picked up that are causing various types of havoc amongst the the search and rescue teams in the first couple episodes. So I am really enjoying what I'm seeing so far, and it was the same thing with Romulus. So same thing with Predator, Killer of Killers. It's a there is story. Actually, it's for the first time in however many years there is actual stories being told within these movies.
I mean, Killer of Killers was really good. Again, I highly recommend it. You recommended it first to me, and I've kept it in the back of my mind. And I said, you know what? Last night I said I'm. It's been on my to-do list, and I'm definitely going to go ahead and make the effort to go ahead and see it. And I'm glad I did because you were right. It is really, really a solid movie. In fact, again, the animation. I think it should be at least marketed or screened in so that it can be eligible for a best animated feature, similar to what K-pop Demon Hunters is going through right now. So I definitely look forward to seeing if that's going to happen. But yeah, I want to go ahead and cram my episodes of Alien Earth. I want to binge it. I want to binge it.
Yeah. I mean, well, when it's all said and done, like we should have a deeper dive on it. Let me ask you a question though. Predator, Killer of Killers. Did you watch the extended cut or did you watch the regular one?
I watched the regular one. Is there an extended cut? I know there's the after credit scenes, and I won't give any spoilers, but we were talking about that IP. We were just talking about Aliens and how it has, I guess, Easter eggs that tie itself to previous films. I will just say that Predator, Killer, Killers does the same thing, and I'll leave it at that.
Do you think that we're gonna find ourselves in a place where there's like a Predators like all-star movie?
Yes, I know that's been talked about. I think is that the number 3? Because the guy who directed this directed Prey.
Prey, yeah. So you see all the spoiler-free area here, but there is references to the old characters. But I mean, we're in a place though where like you have these actors getting really old, so you have to do it before, God willing, they stick around for a while. But you have to do it before some of these older actors pass. If they're going to end up doing something like that.
Exactly, especially with those two. I would do it animated. Personally, seeing it, so some of those actors that we're talking about in the Predator universe probably be better to do it from a voice standpoint. I think at this point in time, personally, but I do know that there was supposed to be. I read an article after I watched it last night, Josh, and I believe it is leading you into that with the trilogy of the director's films. Because again, he directed this one, he directed Prey, which was live action. I'm thinking, and I believe the inference is he's trying to get all together for one big thing. So definitely look at Predator, Killer, Killers, Alien Earth. Alien Predators, at one time, Josh, these two IPs were on life support. They had
Yeah.
some really bad entries into the whole situation as far as what was concerned, and it really put them on life support. But I'm really glad that Hulu has brought these IPs back to life, and I think there's now a lot of there's a big future, I believe, for both.
So we do have a canon problem though. Alien.
Yeah, that's as more entries get in there, how are you going to avoid that? Really?
Yeah, but the Alien vs Predator movies. So from what we understand, Prometheus was the genesis of the xenomorphs, right? But the xenomorphs are active in the Alien vs Predator movies, which take place, 100 plus years before this. Before Prometheus even happens. So they did, and I know that they did say that they're gonna in the meeting, Disney's meeting with Century Films or whatever. They said that they are gonna go back to the Alien verse. We are gonna see the Alien versus Predator return. So it would be interesting to see how they fix those canon problems, because as we know with sci-fi movies, sci-fi properties, canon is really important. People are willing to overlook like small, minute things, but not something as big as like a discrepancy in the timeline.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing if that will happen, and I believe it will at some point in time. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But if you have thoughts out there on the whole Alien Predator IPs, now that Alien Earth is getting pretty strong reviews across the board for its first 2 episodes, and Predator Killer Killers came out recently, and it's also garnered a really strong following as well. So please go ahead and let us know your thoughts that the Alien and Predator IPs are still alive and well and still ready to kill. Let us know your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. But before we hit the half-hour break, my friend, I did tell you I would let you know my experience with the Battlefield 6 beta. I know a lot of people have been excited for Battlefield 6 upcoming. It looks really good. The destruction is back. It has the kind of feel like. I wish they would promote that theme song a little bit more instead of. It's funny because there was the initial trailer had a band group, and it was F this, F that, F this. I'm like, okay, that's fine. It's not me being an old fogey. I just love that theme song. And actually, we talked about Gears of War and how Mad World is one of the best trailers of all time. If you guys see Battlefield 3 Caspian Border gameplay video, type that in on YouTube. That is one of also the best trailers of all time and the best use of that theme song for Battlefield. But I'm getting psyched about it. But the problem is, Josh, I only got to play a couple games. The movement is obviously not as quick and fast and herky-jerky as Call of Duty, but the fact that you're able to utilize so many different options on the battlefield is really cool. It felt good. It felt clean. The destruction is there. But when the server locked me out and kept me after a game, and I was waiting to go into a new game, and it unfortunately kept me locked out for almost 2 hours. Yeah. Oh, well. And I crashed out. I powered my system off, powered it back on, still had me at that quick resume point. Oh, well.
So is this an issue with their servers, or is it just too many people trying to get on at once?
I don't know. It was right around midnight. So you tell me. I don't know how many people are playing at 12 o'clock midnight on Pacific time. So I don't know. They got to fix that. But did you notice something though when you saw that debut trailer for Battlefield 6? Everybody is wearing black hats.
I did not notice that.
Check that out again and do a drinking game. Every time you see someone talking, one of the developers from the development team talking about that, and I was wearing a black hat.
Okay.
There's a trend going on.
Is there an Easter egg here somewhere?
I know Vince Zampella, maybe because everybody Vince Zampella, he's a god among the video game developers out there. Obviously, by his body of work and what he's done, he's come over to the Battlefield team. But I noticed how he's wearing just black hat. A couple, 2, 3, 4 others, I believe, in that video or two, at least 2 or 3. Yeah, black hat, black hat. Just do a drinking game every time you see someone wear a black hat during that initial Battlefield 6 video. That's all I'll say on that. But it is looking good if you can get in to play it. But the beta is, after when you hear this, most likely done because it ended this past weekend. So what are your thoughts on Battlefield 6? Are you excited for its upcoming October release? Tell us your thoughts out there. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. Well, 1/2 hour down, 1/2 hour to go here on the Pop Culture Cosmos. It is Josh the Great, Josh the Magnificent, Josh the Fantastic. I can't keep up with all your acronyms, my friend, but Josh the Magnificent Peterson, along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching this. We truly appreciate it. It is the summer box office coming down to a quieter close, my friend. After the big week by Weapons last week, it did have for a horror movie a really strong hold, a 43% drop only in its second week. It did take the box office, but that's what, in the mid-20s. So as far as domestically and now worldwide, it's going to be about 150 million worldwide as far as the box office for a movie that didn't cost a whole lot of money. It looks like it's going to be a big payoff for Warner Brothers, again, reaping the rewards. And they are, I think, the MVP of the summer. It didn't start off that great for them with the Alto Knights and Mickey 17, but this summer has been very good, if any, to one that's out there. It has been good to Warner Brothers with Sinners, with other movies, Superman, obviously, really racking up some miles on the box office. But where did you want to go first? Overall, the summer box office, when we talk about it, the summer box office, we're not quite there. Their rebound is not quite there for the summer box office. I know that they were expectations on how much they're getting, I believe, was $4 billion in and around the summer months that they were looking to get, and they just can't quite get there. The numbers dictate out as far as the fact that they're right around last year's numbers, to say the least, which is far behind what we were before the COVID pandemic. So I want to know where you want to go first when it comes to the summer box office. I have the numbers in front of me. I have the dates in front of me, starting with what, obviously Thunderbolts, which the way Marvel will be doing movies for the first week in May change now forever because of it. Your thoughts on where you want to go first with the summer movie season?
So we talked about this a little bit last week. We have 3 Marvel movies that came out this year. Captain America, obviously not a summer movie, but we're at a weird place where no Marvel film has crossed 500 million this year. But also, these are really off like properties, right? They're not like your Iron Man or Thor or anything like that. So it's hard to like gauge where that's at. But I mean, what do you think though with looking at the summer box office, what do you think was the most successful movie of the summer here?
Well, obviously, I could say Weapons by cost to profit ratio may end up being in that higher notch. As far as that's concerned, you could also say a movie like Minecraft movie, which earned almost $1 billion at the box office.
So close.
Close to that, is also a big successor. And Lilo and Stitch, I'd probably have to say, for what Disney put into this. And remember, this was supposed to be at one time a movie that was targeted straight to Disney Plus, Josh. I think that this is the biggest movie of the summer, Lilo and Stitch, at just over $1 billion. Which, if just being one movie this summer that gained over $1 billion, that's going to be a problem. As far as overall, that I think dictates as well. When you have a movie that's your top movie of the summer, only just over $1 billion, I think that tells you where we stand. As far as why I think that movie theaters are still not in great health. Alan in our chat. Why are the August movies better than other summer movies? They've been I think it's a cost to profit ratio. The movies that came out in August, Freakier Friday, Weapons, Naked Gun, for instance, most of those movies, Nobody 2, even though Nobody 2 only placed 3rd at the box office this weekend, it doesn't have a high price tag. None of the movies that came out, or virtually none of the movies that came out in August, Alan, don't have a high price tag attached to it. The Fantastic Four, First Steps, is the last big budgeted movie to come out, and that obviously has not had the kind of legs that Disney and Marvel was hoping for. But Alan, you're right. Late July was Superman, and then the initial bump up from Fantastic Four put some hope in the box office. But at the end of the day, I just don't think we're going to see. It's going to take a lot for the fall and winter months, Josh, for 2025 to really gain a foothold as a premier year for the box office.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you a question here. I got a couple of questions I want to ask you. One, was it Naza 2? All right. So that one is getting an English dub and it's being released on August 22nd. So do you see that crossing $2 billion?
Well, it's already crossed $2 billion worldwide.
No, it's
it already has. In China alone.
It's showing that worldwide it's 1.8 or 1.9 right now.
Are you sure?
Box Office Mojo is telling me the truth here.
I thought the original Neja 2, because Neja 2 I thought was 2.2.
Neja 2 1.8.
No, it's 2.150 worldwide. It's 1.8 internationally. Oh, yeah, you're right. That's weird because it's internationally it's got 1.879. Domestically, it's got 20 million. That does not add up to 2.150 worldwide. So I don't know how they come to that number. So if you
see this going over the top,
where's that up at the top?
No, sorry, I said, do you see this going over the top after being released?
Oh yeah, I see it being a pretty good hit here. I seeing if there's anything that could really resonate with audiences up and because I'm not even sure Jordan Peele's him. I know I am so on the fence on whether or not that's going to appeal to a larger audience like some of his other movies have. I don't know if that will because of the placement in mid-September. I'm kind of worried about that movie. Maybe it'll attract the attention that it did in September. But I think Neja 2, if anything over the next few weeks will hit, it's going to be that movie just because of the fact that it's garnered, I mean, whether it's 1.879 billion or whether it's 2.1 billion, whatever number you want to reference from Box Office Mojo. That's a good question. I don't know where they're doing the math on that, but I'm just going to tell you that's a lot of money, and I think it will go over the top because if it gets international release and the English only release and all that good stuff, I think there's enough good vibes and there's enough audience interest in it that will want to go ahead and see this movie. I think it might have another $200-300 million in it, if at all, and maybe even more. Who knows? Who knows how much it will resonate with audiences here? But I think it will. Demon Slayer, when that comes out, I don't know how much that was going to resonate with audiences after its first week, because it's going to be very front loaded. Demon Slayer is always front loaded, so I don't know how it will not be like it has in Japan, where it's been number one for multiple weeks. But it's interesting to see where that's going to go. But at the end of the summer, Neja 2 could be a really big surprise hit here in the States, but. Overall, I don't think that's going to save the actual summer box office in its entirety, but it will definitely give a little bit of boost, I think, to theater owners as well.
Yeah. All right. So we've both seen a lot of movies this summer, right? So what are if you had to?
You mentioned that on your social media. I was like, that was cool. You didn't even mention Killers. I was like, dude. I was going to respond. I was late at night.
Right. I completely forgot to put that on my list there. All right. So we saw a lot of movies this summer. What would you rank as like your favorite? Like what's the top one? Even if it's not the most profitable movie, what was the most enjoyable one you've watched this summer?
That is a good question. I would probably have to say, well, if you want to include streaming, can we include streaming? Although this has been actually released into theaters into a limited form just to qualify for the Oscars, but K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh, all right.
Followed closely by Fantastic Four. So, and then Killer of Killers, Predator is up there as well. Superman, I did think of. I gave that a 7. I think you gave that a little tick higher than I did on that, if memory serves. But it's still pretty solid as well. But of the summer, guys, I think that that's probably what I'd lean on as far as the best. I mean, I did see Sinners which is outstanding and great, but that doesn't qualify as a summer movie, and that will be on my best of pop culture as well for the year. So I think that might be the best out of all of them. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm going back and forth, but that did not come out in the summertime, but I did watch in the summertime. For me, that might be really good. But yeah, I think it's going to be so far a summer season when we look back on it and say it really didn't jumpstart the box office to where it needed to be, my friend.
No, but I mean, it had a lot of variety, and I think that
Yes.
that's something we have not seen in several years. So you have, if you superhero movies, you want your low budget films, you want horror movies, like there was a wide variety of movies to watch. Like for example, for me, like I think I really enjoyed Thunderbolts, but like the one I'm glad that I watched this summer out of all of them was 28 Years Later, because like I've been following that franchise for a while, but that was a movie that had a relatively low budget, told a absolutely great story, and I felt all the things that I should feel while watching a movie while watching that film. And I think that because of that, it's probably one of my favorite. It is my favorite movie of the summer.
Alan says, you know what could save theaters? More streaming movies like War of the Worlds.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That would send people out of the theaters, Alan. I mentioned it on last week's show with TJ. What is the worst movie I have seen this century? I know that Josh and I go back and forth because I put King Arthur on the list. Well, some of the worst movies I've ever seen this century. It has been defeated by War of the Worlds. War of the Worlds on Amazon is the worst movie I've ever seen this century. And it might be possibly the worst movie I've ever seen. And I've seen quite a few bad ones. Highlander 2, The Quickening, Problem Child 2, which is weird because Problem Child 2 has a better Rotten Tomatoes rating than Problem Child. I could go on and on with stuff during the 80s and 90s that were really bad, but yeah, War of the Worlds as a friend and as someone out there who wants to give you good recommendations, I'd probably say avoid War of the Worlds at all costs.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard nothing but bad.
It was sitting on the shelf, Josh, for 5 years for a reason, because it was taped during the pandemic. So.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Let me go ahead and say my worst movie of the summer: Jurassic Park Rebirth.
I remember you not liking it. I did want to give a shout out to also. I agree with you on the new Avengers, aka Thunderbolts. I really like that. That is just a tick behind Fantastic Four as well. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I wish that they took 20 minutes out of that movie. I would have liked it even more. I think the first Reckoning movie was better than this Reckoning movie, just to be honest with you. But they're solid. It's solid. It's Tom Cruise running all over the place, so it's pretty solid. But I could get you on 28 Years Later, and I could get you on why you really hated that specific movie. But you can go back into it again if you want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll just say like it was a movie that I don't know if it meant to be as aware of itself as it was, but like the whole premise was, people are tired of dinosaurs. Like the movie opens with a Brachiosaurus dying in the streets of New York City. And they're talking to a museum curator of Natural History Museum. And he's saying that people don't want to come into the museum anymore because they see dinosaurs out in the street. So looking at that, then they go to this island where they're dinosaurs where they like splice genes and stuff. I don't know, but I feel like in the movie, the people are tired of dinosaurs, but also people in theaters are not amazed by these creatures anymore. Obviously, people are watching it because it's almost
828 million worldwide.
Yeah. But it's just the magic of Jurassic Park is gone, man. And this was not a film that had any magic at all. Like it had no resonance. And I know Spielberg asked Gareth Edwards to take out all the Jurassic Park references, but this was the horror movie Steven Spielberg wanted the first Jurassic Park to be, but also it just was not good, man. It was not even kind of failed at being a horror movie.
But to give you an idea how much it was accepted worldwide, Superman actually is about $10 million ahead at this point. It's still in the top 10 of box office that's out there domestically, but Superman is $200 million plus behind simply off the international gate, my friend, which tells you just like the well, I guess the Fast and the Furious movies, which you and I clown on so much. People still watch it here in the States, but it is so beloved internationally. That's why they're still making them, my friend. In the case of Jurassic, whatever you want to call it, Park, Rebirth, whatever, World, whatever.
Yeah.
Internationally, it is still eaten up by millions around the world. And again, when you got a movie that makes $800 million, guess what? You're going to see more of them, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we're stuck with them, but man, I tell you, like kids will not get to experience the joy of, I mean, I guess you'll see like a repeat of the original Jurassic Park, but we're getting to the point where they're just going to keep on making more of these movies and not have any sort of like magic in them like we experienced with the first one.
Once again, it is, of course, Josh the Magnificent Pearson, along with me, Joe Glassford. Thanks again for watching this. We're recapping the summer box office, the highs and the lows of the summer box office. Before we get into some disappointing parts of the summer box office, I did also want to give a big shout out to F1, the movie, which I said before was going to be huge internationally. And that, like Jurassic Park, has garnered well over $400 million internationally. It's almost hitting $600 million worldwide. Domestically, it hasn't done $200 million here, but F1 is more of an international mix, an international flavor. So I know this movie cost a lot to make, but it's one of the most stylistic driving movies of all time. It did translate well with international audiences. I think Apple TV Plus might get a big boost out of this when it finally hits to that streaming outlet. But what's the biggest surprise for you when it comes to any of the movies that you heard or saw with the summer box office this season?
Honestly, I was surprised. I mean, we did not expect Superman to get as high as it did in box office revenue. Like we were expecting it to be, I was expecting it to be like 300s, but to see it almost cross $600 million, like I would definitely say that was a success.
Absolutely. And it allows James Gunn to continue his vision for the DC universe, which already kind of really squeamish about, with Clayface and some of the other things are mentioned going forward. But we'll see. Again, Supergirl is next on the list, Clayface, and then what happens after that, we'll wait and see how a Wonder Woman, a Batman, and other parts of the DC universe are integrated into that. My biggest surprise is Weapons. I think, that movie, that was a word-of-mouth movie. That was a movie based off of social media. Because Barbarian, if you remember, that came out a couple years ago from Peter Kreger's, his first initial movie offering out there. And, that movie was made on a nothing budget. And, while it only garnered about, 40 million, I think, in its total run, it has gained a big time word of mouth on how well it's been received as a horror film. And coming off that vibe, and seeing all the name actors that wanted to work on it with him with this project, with Weapons, and just the sheer concept, it's got a great concept. Whether you argue over how it ended and how because the premise is basically 17 kids, they leave at 2:17 in the morning and disappear, and you're trying to figure out all these from there, they come from one classroom, and you're trying to figure out what really went on. So once you are able to find out what really went on in this movie, I guess it whether or not you like it or didn't like how that ended up, I'll leave that up to you guys out there. But it has garnered a lot of conversation And as Alan stated earlier in the comments, having a great drop like that for a horror movie, that's not unheard of, but it's really not seen too much in horror movie genre, because the horror movie genre is like all front loaded. And to see them getting this kind of money from a movie that still didn't cost a whole lot of money is really quite good. And it's funny because I've been hearing a lot of people describe the movie by the actors' other characters that they played. Hey, remember Thanos? Thanos is in the movie and he gets attacked by Wong, and then Silver Surfer's into this. She's teaching a class. The class is entirely, it's like funny how they referencing the other characters that they do in real life out this. But it's really is a film that gets a lot of people talking. That's what you need. And in late August, it's not saving the box office, but it sure is helping it quite a bit.
So let me ask you a question on this. There's talk already of there being a prequel made to Weapons. So do you think that we're going to quickly find ourselves in territory where Warner Brothers just milks the living daylights out of this movie? Because I mean, they did the same thing with The Conjuring, right? The first Conjuring movie, fantastic horror movie. And then they created an entire franchise around it.
And now you're getting Last Rites next month.
But you have like your Annabelle spinoff. You have Curse of La Llorona. You have more Conjuring movies. I'm pretty sure there's probably some other spinoffs out there. I'm not 100% aware of. But do you think Warner Brothers is primed to do this with the Weapons?
Well, first of all, they can't quite yet, because Robert Krager did say he does have an idea for it, Josh, as far as a next movie in this universe. But he can't commit to it yet because he is doing, and this is up your alley, my friend, the next Resident Evil movie. So he is creating an all new universe. Says he hasn't watched the previous Resident Evil movies. Is a big RE fan. And so he's going to go from there. So wondering how he'll see the Resident Evil IP is going to be fascinating. But I think that once he gets back into the groove and Warner Brothers backs up the Brinks truck for him, as I like to say, I think they'll wring this dry. It's they're movie studios, my friend. What do you expect? You have a hit. What do you expect? I'm surprised because Sinners, there wasn't talk of any type of sequel or prequel or anything like that going in there as far as Sinners is concerned. But I know Ryan Coogler, we all know he gets the rights back in 25 years, but I believe he has a firm stamp on how he wants to see this universe going forward, if he just wants to keep it at one movie or what have you. But I know Robert Krager has a beginning tour, because that's only his second movie. He might be more inclined, based on whatever the results are for Resident Evil, to go ahead along with what Warner Brothers plans out for Weapons.
Yeah. I mean, I hope the Resident Evil movie is great. He sounds like he's just the right kind of mind to put it together. But as for Weapons, there's a lot of talk about the a prequel coming out, and I see this as being just how many more movies can we squeeze out of this?
Oh, I see that coming as well, but it's going to take a little bit, because first Robert Krager has to hit Resident Evil first, so we'll see what happens there. But he does say he has an idea for where he wants to go with it, so we'll see that indeed. But I'm looking forward to it. So that means more Naruto runs, my friend, in the near future. So looking forward to seeing where that goes as well. But that is my big surprise of the year. Any other big surprise for you before we get into disappointments?
F1 was a movie, like we talked about. I didn't foresee it crossing 500 million. It's the one movie that I did not get to see this year that I actually really want to see. So I'm waiting for it to hit streaming, or allow me to rent it somehow off Amazon Prime or something, because I really, really want to see this movie. So
you and I both.
Yeah. So this is definitely one that I missed, that I am excited to get a chance, opportunity to watch when I can.
We'll go ahead and touch on my disappointment, and you've already mentioned it already. My biggest disappointment is Marvel, and where we're at with Marvel movies in 2025. You started off, like you said, with Captain Brave New World. That was the one that hurt me the most, because I was highest for that going into these three movies.
Yeah.
On where that would be. It was really bad compared to the other two movies. But the two movies, Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four First Steps, those two movies were very well received critically, seemed to be received well by audiences, but I think people are just, at this point, the superhero fatigue is real. The superhero fatigue is real, or at least on the Marvel side, whether you like it or not, whether you deny it or not, I believe it's real, and that's my biggest disappointment of the summer.
Yeah, I mean, like I said though, like these were all off properties, right? Like nobody had seen Sam Wilson's Captain America. A lot of people haven't read the comic books there. A lot of people, the Thunderbolts, they probably didn't watch Black Widow or knew any of these characters. Fantastic Four is the same thing, right? Like the past Fantastic Four movies have been mediocre at best. So I think the true test, the litmus test here is going to be, how does Spider-Man fare in the theaters next year? And I think that's going to really tell us whether or not their superhero fatigue is happening. Because if it's a whole different story, if it's like an Iron Man or Spider-Man or Thor or one of those properties not making, above 500 million, I think that will tell us what is happening with superhero fatigue.
Well, we want to hear your thoughts out there on the summer box office. Leave in the comments below on YouTube, or you can always hit us up on social media at the Pop Culture Cosmos various channels, or Pop Culture Cosmos at yahoo.com. Well, again, I mentioned a great week upcoming for us here as far as the various outlets that I go ahead and take care of. We'll have Lakers Fast Break. We're going to have hopefully what I've been told will be a live 3-hour special that we're going to be doing at some point later this week. A proof of concept video there. We're going to be something special for you guys out there. Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Chris Ardieri and I are back covering the world of fantasy football. And PCC Multiverse, not only going to cover things like as far as Peacemaker Season 2, which will be out here in a few days, Josh. Also, as well, of course, we'll be covering a lot of the good things with going on at Gamescom, because Gamescom will be hopefully up and around by the time we record. And also, as well, of course, looking at stuff like, again, what he was talking about with a retro review. He has got a movie in mind that he wants us to go ahead, him and I, to go ahead and review. And Josh, again, I said it to you off air, I'm saying it to you on air. If there's something retro you want us to cover and reminisce on, hit me up, my friend. I'm all game.
Absolutely, I will.
So what's going on? Anything else later before we head on out with the Happy Hoarder? Before, like I said, we head on out.
We're getting ready to launch an esports program called the Plucky Gamer, and so that's an offshoot of the Happy Hoarder. But that website's going to go live, tonight sometime. We obviously it's only going to be aimed at people in this area here for now, but yeah, really excited to see where that goes, man. We're stocked up, we got some Switches and some Xboxes and PlayStations, so we're ready to get this thing off the ground.
I am so happy for you. I wish you and everyone else with the Plucky Gamer the best of success with it. And again, what's the website handle as far as so if people can find out more information on it?
The PluckyGamerEsports.com, and that will be live later tonight.
All right. Looking forward to hearing what is going on a regular basis for the Plucky Gamer, the Happy Hoarder, Humanica Media himself, Josh the Magnificent Peterson. Plus, he said he's got some things in the works for the pop culture world as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So for Josh the Magnificent Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great day.
Welcome to the Pop Culture Cosmos.